All right, all right, all right. The MCU's Bleeding Edge is live once again with a eclectic, all male guest panel because we're kicking it men's rights style here tonight. You know what I'm saying? No feminist bullshit here with us tonight. This is the all male MCU Bleeding Edge edition, and this is going to be a MCU news roundup with a bunch of trailer reaction watches and a bunch of interesting stuff going on. So basically, just to go ahead and introduce the panel, we've got, of course, again, he is a very welcome addition to the MCU's Bleeding Edge always. William, good to see you, brother.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me back, man. It's an honor to be here. Very glad to be here once again and enlighten everybody on the world of geek. Let's go.
There you go. And Shah, if you want to go ahead and say hello, and at the same time, maybe just mention where you and William are coming from.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Shah. Me and William are the co-hosts of the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Please check it out.
Excellent, excellent. And on top of that, we of course have once again becoming a regular on the Bleeding Edge, Vincent Vanspock. What's good, brother?
How's it going? Live long and prosper.
Andrew,
he might as well just claim it. You might as well just take the spot. You might as well just take it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm claiming it.
So we got Andrew from GNN, Geek News Now Network, that I am and Cyber and I are a part of now, part of the team. And it's good to see you, Andrew. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, well, let's get right into it and jam into some content. I want to go ahead and start right off with probably a trailer reaction. And I wanted to go ahead and pick something that I thought would be interesting and would fall kind of into Shah and Williams kind of category a little bit because they cover a lot of DC, DCU, DCEU, and then also throw something out there that I've never gotten any reactions from Andrew or from Vincent on, although I've gotten maybe from Cyber or Perry. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the new Batman trailer that we got from DC Fandom. And William, you can laugh all you want. Go ahead. Save your jokes for in a minute.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. I've been trying to reach you.
Find the gun!
This is about a king, and Ritter's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take it.
I got you! I got you!
Okay, so now I don't know, man. I don't know where. I know William's gonna say his piece here in a minute, but that is a dope ass trailer, man. I don't care what anybody says. Like that is like an exciting trailer that makes me want to see this damn movie. Like straight up, like I want to see it because I'm telling you right now, I don't believe for a second that they showed us all the best shit from the movie at all. I think there's plenty left over for us to see in the film. So, starting off with you, Shah, what's your take on that Batman trailer?
Well, before I wasn't behind what's her name as Catwoman. Now I'm more so. And as far as Rob Pattinson is, there's a couple of scenes in there that I just don't like. He's just like he's doing the whole Bale voice and all that. Nah. Just nah. It's not a movie that I'm like planning to see, but a movie I'll probably see. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew, you seemed like you were getting into that trailer, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty enjoyable. I notice how it looks very brutalist, very gritty. We have the brutality of him, not just in this trailer, but in the other trailer where we saw where he grabs like one of the thugs and just mercilessly just like beats the crap out of him. And here with like the Batmobile design looks very kind of has like that noir kind of very sharp edges, very kind of like this isn't like this is not going to be a campy Batman for sure. And so I'm interested in seeing just how dark and brutal it gets because it's like the Dark Knight trilogy was brutal, but almost kind of like artsy in a way. Whereas here, this seems like very muted colors, very brown and black. And just even like the buildings, that claustrophobic kind of dark underbelly
Hold
look.
on,
Looks
Andrew,
really
hold on.
cool.
Do we have a conversation going on in the background somewhere with somebody? Because I can hear another conversation happening with other people that aren't on the stream.
My mic was muted, so it wasn't me.
Not me.
I hear it too.
All right. Well, anyway, bottom line, I'm sorry about that, Andrew. Go ahead. Finish up.
It's all right. Oh, and by the way, that's Zoe Kravitz. That's Catwoman.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure like what exactly they're trying to aim for or going with this because like I don't know. I don't remember if it was shown in the trailer. If like, is this going to be PG-13 or R? Is it going to kind of tread the line in between? I'm wondering what it's going to be.
That's a good question. I'll be honest with you. I don't know for sure. I don't know that they've said publicly if this was going to be an R-rated film or a PG film. But based on the trailers, I would have to believe it's going to be R-rated. I would have to believe just because when he in that trailer we just watched, when he double taps that thug or whatever on the ground in front of Jim Gordon and the rest of the cops, and they all like back up and everything because of the brutality. Like that's kind of right there. That kind of crosses that PG line right there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's I know for superhero films, like going for R rating is usually a big no because you're losing out on possible revenue with like younger audiences. But I feel like at the same time, the name Batman is not going to deter anyone really if it's like an R-rated movie because it's.
Well, let me ask you guys
Batman.
a question. This is an open question to everybody because I just don't know. The Christian Bale Batman films, were they rated R?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, if they do decide to go rated R, I think that would be very fitting for this Batman because it's very obvious from the trailers. This is a very young. This is Batman year 2, starting off year 2 as Batman. So, you can see he's very emotional, like he's losing control and stuff like that in the trailer. And I feel like at that point, I think it would be actually be fitting if they gave it a rated R label. And I would love it if they actually had some nude scenes with Zoe Kravitz. I think that would be great. I think it would definitely add something interesting to the film. The female body is very nice to look at from time to time. So
he's starting already, y'all. He's starting already.
Anyways,
10 minutes into this thing.
Vincent, what do you think about the Batman
trailer? So I actually did get a chance to talk about this. I think it was either during the Thor review or the Avengers Part 1.
You're right.
I think it was Thor. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. I haven't been excited for a Batman movie since The Dark Knight, the first like Dark Knight, not the Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises was kind of awful, but the Dark Knight was really, really good. And I knew it was going to be good from the first trailer that they dropped. And I probably watched that trailer 100 times.
Yeah.
And I probably watched this one at least 50 already. And I'll probably watch another 50 more before the movie comes out, because multiple reasons. Number one, we're getting a detective Batman. We haven't had a detective Batman on screen yet. And I'm so excited for that aspect of it, because he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and we have yet to see him be anything other than a brutalist. But we're also getting the brutalist side of this. I mean, he literally just pounds the heck out of people. And that's pretty interesting to see, because Batman's usually about finesse, and he's got all of these weird, like, ducking, dodging, using the cape, using the
straight
batarangs.
into machine gun fire and stuff like that, just left and right.
Exactly. So this is kind of interesting to see. And then also, I love Paul Dano. Paul Dano is absolutely fabulous, and I think he's going to be an amazing Riddler, especially the way that they're doing him, very Zodiac killer-esque, and it just looks creepy. They haven't shown Paul Dano's face in this, so I'm wondering if they've done some sort of like prosthetic makeup to him, kind of like they did with Colin Farrell's Penguin, or if they're going to like just leave him as he is, but just maybe never even show his face or something. That's something that they could possibly do in this entire movie, is never show Paul Dano's face.
Well, when he's in prison or in jail or whatever, and Batman visits him in jail, I think he probably is unmasked then.
Yeah, he'll absolutely be unmasked. That's true. But will they do like creative camera angles and shadows and stuff to keep him from ever being seen?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. They very well could do that. And if they did do that, I think it would be really cool. And that's one of the things I love about Batman, whether it's Robert Pattinson or Christian Bale or whoever, the fact that Batman has those kind of connections with the police department and with Jim Gordon and everything, to where he can just go in and see prisoners at the police, even though he's like a vigilante, it's interesting. It really is. There's not really there aren't really that many dynamics like that between a superhero and like law enforcement or the police or whatever, really that I can think of that are at the same level as Batman. But what do you think, William? Has your attitude changed maybe, or softened?
It's just that one scene with me when he goes and says, and the way he says it, vengeance. That's the thing that kills me. Everything else looks good. It looks fantastic. But when you hear him say that, we're used, and the word has been used several times during the show already, brutalist Batman. We're used to that intimidation Batman. We're used to the dark, gritty voice of Batman. When he says vengeance in that one scene, I'm sorry, that doesn't scream intimidation. That doesn't scream someone you should be afraid of. I feel like I can take him right now if you're just going off that one part of him. And I know it's year 2. I get it. I understand it. But at the same point, it's supposed to be Batman. And to me, and it could change it as it gets later on. But to me, that's not the Batman I know. That's not the Batman I was raised. And I can tell you right now, I'm older than most of you. That's not the Batman I know. That's not the Batman I was raised on. And hopefully they can change it. Hopefully he gets better with it. I mean, he sounds like Barney, for crying out loud, when he says, vengeance.
Let me ask you, man.
Come on, man.
Do you feel like this is kind of where the new Batman?
Yeah. It's not, and maybe I've been spoiled.
I got you, Andrew. I got you, motherfucker.
And I guess I've been spoiled because you look at so many great Batman in the past. You look at Mark Hamill in a cartoon. You look at the movies and things like that. You expect Batman to hold down that tradition. Brave and the Bold Batman was a disappointment to me. That could have been a lot darker than what it was, but it was very kiddie when it wasn't supposed to be. And now this so far, I loved everything, every part of that trailer until he spoke. When he spoke, that was it for me. But the rest of it, the action was good. The suit looked good. Everything else looked good. It was just him. and his take on the character doing that one scene. And I know I'm probably nitpicking, but that's just something that's hard for me to get over because I'm used to Batman being one way.
I think William is going to end up having to come back on the bleeding edge when this movie comes out and have to admit that he's going to go see this shit in the theater. He's going to go see it and he's going to come back and be like, you know what? I fucked up with this one. Like,
and if I go, I'll gladly do it. If it ends up being good, I will gladly do it. No shame in my game. But when he just says that vengeance part, the believability factor, if that even a word, the believability factor is just not there for me. And that's the part that I'm hung up on. Just that part. Everything else is great. The suit, the scenes he's kicking butt, everything else is great. It's just that one part.
Well, Vincent, believability is a word, isn't it?
I believe it is. Yeah.
I think so.
I believe it is.
We got William on here using words that aren't even.
I gotta be sure, man. I gotta look up I gotta get my thesaurus or something.
All right.
Hey, it's a perfectly cromulent word. If anybody gets that
I get that reference.
In this environment with the box office and what we've seen with the films do box office wise so far, what do you think the fan reaction to this Batman film is going to be when it comes out in 2022? I mean, how well do you think this film's going to do? Just real quick, I'll go around everybody. Shah, what do you think? How well do you think this film will be received? You think it'll do well box office wise?
It'll probably break even. Apart from that, maybe it'll go make more, maybe, but definitely break even.
All right, William.
It'll draw, make money because who in our realm, in the realm of Geek, is not a fan of Batman. I mean, he has that fandom. So the movie's going to do well at the box office, just for people who are curious and want to see it. So I think it'll do well. Now, will it be reviewed well? Would it be the type of movie that everybody says, "Oh my gosh, I got to go watch it again"? That remains to be seen.
All right, Vincent.
So I think it's going to have, at the very least, a great opening weekend because so many people do love Batman and because of how well these trailers are being received. Like, there's a lot of people looking at these trailers going, yes, this is the Batman that I want. This is the Batman that I need. And they will pre-order their tickets and go see it opening weekend. And then there will be the people that waited just a little bit. And depending on if the movie is actually decent or not, they will either show up or they won't. And if it's a decent movie, then it'll make way more than what it put into it. If it's not a decent movie, then whatever they made opening weekend will probably be about as much as they make total.
I think we all know here on the show, we all know the popularity of Batman overall is pretty big, even though he's kind of been out of the spotlight here for a minute since the Christian Bale films came out. I feel like, you tell me, Andrew, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if this Batman film ends up doing better than Shang-Chi did.
I mean, well, first of all, not to miss out on a perfectly good pun when Vincent was saying decent. But yeah, I agree with Vincent. I think it's gonna. I mean, it's Batman. Of course, it's gonna do really well. I think review-wise, I think people are probably gonna hold it up to the pedestal of like the Christopher Nolan trilogy, or like is it as people? I think people are never gonna get over Heath Ledger's Joker. Like that's just gonna always stay as like the what do you call it, the I can't think of the word exactly, but it's like, does it pass the litmus test of like, is it as good as, is this portrayal of like the Riddler going to be, as memorable or as iconic as that? I'm just curious because I don't know when. It's in March of next year. I know Warner Brothers has that deal with HBO where I think the next few movies they have are going straight to streaming as well as theaters. Is this going to fall under that or no? Do you know?
This, I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe that this will be strictly to theater, and then eventually they'll drop it on HBO Max.
Okay, because there was like with Dune that just came out recently, where like Warner Brothers has that deal with HBO where like everything's going to come out on there, but I wasn't sure how far that stretch, because March isn't that far. That's like the first, quarter of next year.
First quarter of 2022. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's probably going to impact it if it does, land on HBO Max around that time. So curious to see how that's going to work. But yeah, for sure it's going to break even. I'm sure it's going to turn a profit. How much of a profit? I don't know. But I mean, it's mostly just conjecture and trying to figure out exactly where it's going to land. That's all I can really say.
Most definitely.
And I think when you go back and look at that trailer, you see a lot of things that make people want to go see it. I mean, you see a different type of Batmobile there. You see him trying to build from the ground up, and I think that's going to be the interesting parts of it that make people want to go see it. Particularly people in the younger generations who don't know who Batman is or don't know what Batman is about as a character. So I think that's why people will go see. That's what's going to be its draw. I can learn more about Batman and what he did when he first came up. Not just be hit with Justice League Batman, but hey, you're going to be hit with Batman before the team ups and things like that.
One more thing to add on that is we haven't had a Batman film obviously since The Dark Knight Rises back in 2012, I want to say. And so like with the advent of like the DC EU and all that stuff, a lot of people have been like kind of blue balled waiting for a Batman solo film. Like we wanted the Deathstroke one we were supposed to get with I forget his last name, Manganiello, and Ben Affleck, and like we're not getting that. So like a lot of people are just like hungry for Batman, solo content. So
I was sort of kind of disappointed.
Blame this movie for that though, because this movie was supposed to be the Ben Affleck movie, but then it got stolen from him.
I would prefer that. I would prefer that. Yeah.
I would have preferred Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Well, I know a chick that's actually pretty hungry herself.
I interviewed my cat with it.
She's hungry.
Wait, what? That was quick I couldn't process it.
but I just think that I just think it's time for Batman Beyond because everything stacks up in a row for it. All you gotta do is find a good Terry McGinnis. Everything else is like right there. And I would love to see Batman. Would love it, man. You bring Keaton back, old Bruce Wayne. It's fantastic. And I would have rather seen this because if you go back and look at the animated history of DC, there's already a Batman Year One out for that. So,
well, I think when it's all said and done, the movie is so far off from being released that we'll probably get a third trailer before then. So, I mean, we can talk about that when that comes out and see, what that one's all about. But moving on, let's talk about the Venom 2 post-credit scene. Sorry about the clip, guys. The video was not very good, obviously, but it did the trick. So, Vincent, what do you think, man? I mean, where does this lead? Where does this go? What is, I mean, I'm not trying to get too in depth with this, but what is the next step with this?
So what it looks like on the surface level is that at the very least, Venom will be meeting up with MCU / Sonyverse Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, at some point. Whether that's the very next Spider-Man movie to come out, was it No Way Home? Yeah. Or the one after that at some point, maybe a Venom Spider-Man team up. We don't know. Maybe Venom will be the sixth person in the Sinister Six lineup because we have 5. Yep. Where's our sixth one? We don't know who it is yet.
Yep.
I have my theories about that. I personally think it would be either the Vulture or who was the other one I was thinking? Mysterio might come back. I think they need to bring somebody back from the MCU movies that have come out about Spider-Man, either Keaton's Vulture or Mysterio, because you have Green Goblin confirmed, you have Doc Ock confirmed. Those 2 are from the Sam Raimi Spider-Verse. You have Electro confirmed, and you have Sandman. Sandman's also from Sam Raimi Spider-Verse, and then Electro's from the Mark Webb Spider-Verse, and then the Lizard from the Mark Webb Spider-Verse as well.
Yeah.
So who's our sixth one? Yep. I'm thinking the sixth one needs to be somebody from the MCU, and so either Mysterio or Vulture, or maybe even like Shocker.
Let me ask you this.
That's what I was thinking, Shocker.
Who would be opposed to a Rhino?
I would be opposed to Rhino.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done him right yet, and I don't know that they ever will, because the Rhino is such a weird character.
He is weird.
Was that Paul Giamatti? Who was that one?
It was Paul Giamatti, yeah.
I would not be able to rely on Sony to be able to pull off Rhino.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think they have kept who the sixth person of the Sinister Six is for a reason. It's probably going to end up being Venom, and Venom is maybe going to have a change of heart towards the end, and then all of a sudden we're going to have 4 spider people, so 3 Spider-Men and then Venom versus Sinister 5, I guess. So who knows? Okay.
Shah, what do you think?
I think the whole idea of the Sinister Six, that's a red herring. They're not going to be the big villains. They're going to pop up individually, sure, but the big villain is going to be Venom. That end credit scene directly ties into what's going to happen in No Way Home. Venom is going to be in Endgame and No Way Home. Mark my words, he's going to be in it.
Yeah, you thinking like what, like a cameo or something like that?
No, he's going to be the big villain.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I remember you said that, Shaw. I'm going to hold you to that. Andrew, what do you think, man?
Well, I'm thinking about how recently there was that quote from Tom Holland about how he said they're treating No Way Home as like the Spider-Man version of like Endgame, where like they're thinking of it as a trilogy. So I'm not 100% sure if like they can make plans that far for another Spider-Man 4 or something. So I'm a little not so sure about that. I'm not sold on that. Venom appearing in No Way Home, I think is very likely, obviously, honestly, because we just saw like, J. Jonah Jameson and all that. I don't think they would just throw that in there haphazardly without like any concrete plans, just in case. Like, I don't think so. So I think we're definitely going to see Venom, him being the main villain, like the main baddie. I mean, I don't know if that would work out, because like we've seen the trailer for No Way Home, and it's like that seems like that would be a huge element missing from the trailer for us to go into the movie with someone who we've never seen in that universe, or from any of the trailers to be like, oh, like here's the main villain, like just suddenly. So, I mean, of course, there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen from the movie yet, because trailer's only like 3-4 minutes, but I don't know if I buy into that. I think the notion of having like a Sinister Six, like just like the rush to get to that, I don't know if that's really wise. I'm really hoping, because it's going to be a very busy film, right? I mean, we have Doctor Strange in the movie too, so it's like what exactly is like the main antagonistic force or whatever? I don't think it's Venom, but I'm not sure what it could be either. So I'm thinking if anything, because of how Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one, ends with Doc Ock like being good at the end. Like I I feel like Doc Ock might also be a red herring towards in that movie. Like he might not be as evil because like remember his motivations in Spider-Man 2. Like how would those motivations play into No Way Home? So
I think that they're not specifically the ones from those movies. That they're like alternate versions of those movies.
They are. And I don't think they'll.
Okay.
I don't think there'll be enough time in the film to even really allow Doc Ock as a character to have an arc where he could even like pull a Loki and become like an anti-hero or something like that. I feel like if anything, they've already got so much going on with this Spider-Man film, Spider-Man 3, that it's going to be hard to even flush out secondary character arcs to begin with any of them, really. What do you think?
I think I read something through a Screen Rant. Sorry to cut you off, but I think I read something through Screen Rant that said that Doc Ock at least is being brought in directly after the moment that he starts sinking in the water from Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
I believe I heard that too.
I'm hearing I heard it leaked the other day. The leaked time for this movie is 2 hours and 39 minutes. That's not enough time to bring everybody you want to see in this movie. I think you will see Venom, but I think it'll be more of a cameo than anything else. And then they'll wait to do that big crossover. They might wait for phase 5 to see that big crossover. Where they team up or do whatever. But I think this would be a cameo, kind of like you saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Daredevil. That's what I'm thinking you're gonna see Venom in this movie. Just a crossover, a quick cameo. Hey, or I hate you, or whatever, and then they go about the rest of the movie. Because 2 hours and 39 minutes in cinematic time isn't a whole heck of a lot of time because you already got a busy movie with Doctor Strange and everything else going down. So I think he will make a cameo, but I don't think he will be this movie's big bad. But I think you'll see Venom really be heavily used in phase 5 because you can do so much with him. You can make him an anti-hero. You can make him a hero. He can team with the Avengers. There's so much you can do with Venom. I'm just excited to see it, and I think it'll be done the right way. And like I say, so many options you can do with him, man. So much you can do. But he'll be a cameo, and then phase 5, I think that's when you start seeing him being used more with Tom Holland.
Well, it's definitely interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different directions that they could go in, and I guess we'll just end up seeing what happens. But to continue to move on and chug on down the road and grind out some more different MCU topics and stuff and whatnot on the show.
Real quick. I want to say two.
Yeah.
Carnage.
You think it'll come back?
More Carnage. I love Carnage for some reason.
I think they really killed him off so quickly and easily.
They quit. Yeah. You didn't really see a lot of development from him, but to me, ever since I started reading him in the comics, and ever since I started reading him in the comics, I really like the character. So I hope they bring him back and we can get more development. Because in the comics and in the world of geek period, you can always be brought back.
Yeah,
always. So
it wasn't crazy enough for me though. Like it should have been crazier.
Yeah.
I
agree, Shah. I feel like they didn't do enough to. I felt like they didn't do enough with flashbacks and stuff to kind of really show the audience how insane, Cletus Cassidy is supposed to be.
He should have been that insane dude from the old Spider-Man cartoon show back in the day. He should have been along that type of insane. Yeah. I love Carnage though. Bring him back. Bring him back.
I think men are better than women.
She's kidding.
No, I'm not.
That's right.
Men are better than women.
Two things that women are better than at men: lying and cheating.
I didn't mean to double tap that. It was an accident. It was a.
But lying and cheating. There you go.
Well,
they got us beat.
Well, that woman seems very intelligent to me.
Oh, I'm not saying she's not. That's why they better, because that's why they better. When we don't look at all our angles, they do. They look at everything, and plus they put people on the payroll. So that's why I say they're better than us. Lying and cheating, two things that always beat us at.
Oh man,
Always.
William. I don't know how you're. William, are you a single guy?
Yes, I am. So I can talk. I can talk that talk.
I can't even imagine what your Tinder profile is like.
I don't have one, but that'd be interesting.
It would be. It definitely would be. All right. Next.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Now that everybody knows, you don't really have to hide or lie to people.
For the record, I never wanted to lie to you. But how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man? Now everybody knows. I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Hey, some people still know.
That's not how the spell works.
What just happened?
We tampered with the stability of space-time. Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. The problem is you trying to live two different lives.
I require your help. Yours and the help of these 3 other Spider-Men.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Let's talk.
I want to help you. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes.
This was a mistake.
Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
Stop, come on.
Yes, my Spider Lord.
Can we just stay up here all day? It is so crazy down there.
That's right, folks. Spider-Man is in fact Peter Parker.
Listen, I did not kill Mysterio. The drones did.
The drones that are yours.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Now that everybody knows, you don't really have to hide or lie to people.
For the record, I never wanted to lie to you. But how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man? Now everybody knows. But this isn't about me. This is hurting a lot of people. I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
So, Peter, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm sorry to bother you, sir.
Please, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Steven.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
When Mysterio revealed my identity, my entire life got screwed up. I was wondering if maybe you could make it so that he never did.
Strange. Don't cast that spell. It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't. The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Wait, everyone? Can't some people still know?
That's not how the spell works.
So MJ's gonna forget about everything we've ever been through?
Stop tampering with the spell.
Oh my God, Ned, he's my best friend. Oh, my Aunt May should really know. Stop talking. What just happened?
We tampered with the stability of space-time. The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. The problem is you trying to live two different lives. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes. Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Hello, Peter.
Okay, sorry guys, I didn't mean to cover a bunch of old stuff that you guys have already probably seen a billion times, but I totally thought that they had maybe released a newer teaser, and that's why I uploaded that, and I figured I'd go ahead and drop it. I didn't think it would be the same exact thing as the teaser that already came out, but either way, sticking with Spider-Man before we jump into Morbius. Going over to you, William. Back to you, William. What are your thoughts on this whole, situation with Spider-Man 3 as far as the fact that, I mean, you saw Eternals today. We're not going to do any spoilers here, but you've already said flat out that it wasn't exactly your favorite film. So, I mean, do you think that Spider-Man 3 is going to be a bounce back film?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, just with the character, the strength of characters that's going to be in this movie. You got all three Spider-Man in this thing. You got Doc Ock coming back. You got Electro in this. It's going to be a huge bounce back. That's why I think he made it posted Eternals a little bit earlier, so Spider-Man can have his time to shine. And I think it's going to be very, very good. I think it's going to be a bounce back. It's going to make a ton of money. And it also, I know it's done differently. I know there's a different way to see it, but it also gives you just a little snippet of what happened in the comics with Civil War. It's a little bit different, but you see, once you find out who Spidey was, then you got to sort of kind of see the same thing you did in Civil War in the comics. So, yeah, I'm excited for it, man. It's gonna make a ton of money. It's gonna be a huge bounce back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's really gonna be the first film that's gonna really make a dent in that box office and kind of get back to what we're used to. We'll see if they actually, we'll see if it gets over the $1 billion mark. But Vincent, what are your thoughts on where things are at right now with Spider-Man 3?
Well, first, I want to talk about what we just saw there. I want to say I think that first trailer you showed was a fan-made one. They had a bunch of stuff from other movies and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's fan-made. So nobody watching this hopefully is going, oh, they confirmed Venom is in this or whatever. So no, it's definitely not that. Second, I do think that this movie is going to be huge. I think it's going to be the end game version of Spider-Man stuff going on. I think we will for sure have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland teaming up. I think they're going to be fighting the Sinister Six, and I think that right there is already big enough. But we're going to have Doctor Strange in it too, which adds quite a bit to it. And then I believe they also are going to have Charlie Cox's Daredevil in one way or another. I don't know for sure. I can't promise that, but I think that all of that is going to be happening in this movie. Maybe one or two other cameos, but as far as I'm concerned, that right there is already pretty dang big. And that right there is going to make a lot of money.
Definitely. Shah, what did you have to say?
It's confirmed.
Yeah.
Cox is confirmed.
Yeah, that Charlie Cox is going to be in the film. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
I think you'll see him more as Matt Murdock than Daredevil myself.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's the plan. There's been photos of him on the set and everything and whatnot during production and everything as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, what do you think, man?
It's interesting. I'm thinking back to how, like, the way the MCU even started, right? With those infamous words, "I am Iron Man," right? And listening here to Doctor Strange tell Peter, like you're trying to live two different lives. And I'm trying to think like that's a good point, because like when you think of like the Avengers characters, like they are the everyday, like their everyday identities is a character, right? Captain America is synonymous with Steve Rogers. He's not pretending to not be Cap, right? Iron Man, of course, is Tony Stark. They, the eye and the suit are one together, right? Yep. And like I'm thinking of all the past, like we haven't really had like a secret identity be like a big thing where the characters are trying to like keep that. It's not in a long time. So I'm curious. And then like how William mentioned, like how it kind of touches a little bit on the Civil War storyline, right? Where like where Peter comes out in support of Iron Man and says like, like this is who I am and stuff, right? And then he immediately deals with the repercussions for that right after with Aunt May and such. So I'm kind of interested how we can come back to this after more than a decade of avoiding these, like, it's got to keep my secret identity kind of stories, like how it's going to resolve that whole situation. And also, I think it's kind of a little, I hope there's more to it that, the whole multiverse stuff that happens with that. I hope there's more to it than just like, oh, this happened because Peter was speaking while Doctor Strange was doing the spell. I hope there's more to it than just that. That's that's the issue that caused everything. Because he's just talking about like Ned and his and MJ, and I'm like, is that really how this goes wrong? And then have we thought enough about how Doctor Strange is so willing to kind of just be like mischievous with like with the wink and everything? Like that doesn't. I don't know. It seems kind of out of character. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about that trailer that we've seen. I'm also curious, like if we're introducing all these characters, like what is Doctor Strange going to be doing at the same time? Like, is he going to be with Peter or is he going to be off somewhere else? Searching for a way to fix everything. Like, I have so many thoughts. I don't even know how to organize them. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now.
But the movie's gonna be good when trailers get delayed. They get leaked out. They're gonna be at this, but then they end up getting delayed. Heck, man! By the time the third trailer comes out, it's time for the movie.
Yeah, apparently Disney wanted to put the trailer out, but Feige didn't. He didn't want to put any trailers out.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
So, okay, and just plowing right on forward. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the next trailer?
All right, let's do
it. You need a doctor?
I am a doctor.
I should have died years ago.
People all over the world have my disease.
I'm here
to find a cure. We have to push the boundaries, take the risks. If you're gonna run, do it now.
People are strange.
Dr. Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger.
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
Faces look ugly when you're alone.
Johnny! What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew. I went from dying to being more alive than ever.
It worked.
Not exactly. I have increased strength and speed and some form of bat radar. What else can I do?
There are limits. There has to be.
There's something inside of me. He wants to hunt and consume blood.
Michael.
When you're strange, faces come.
And you control it.
I don't know.
Half the city wants to kill you.
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
The other half wants to control you.
Hey, Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch. I'd do anything to save a life, but I don't know what I'm capable of.
You save lives, you don't take them. Are you here to heal the world? Or to destroy it? Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom.
I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
All right, gentlemen, I'll tell you, I don't know what to make of this Morbius film right now. I really don't, based off the trailers. I'm really kind of in the middle. I don't want to be overly optimistic about it being too good, and at the same time, I'm not too overly pessimistic that it's going to be really bad or anything. I'm kind of 50-50, but Andrew, what do you think? What do you think about the new Morbius trailer? Is it new to you? Had you seen it before? And what are your thoughts on what we might get out of this film?
Well, like seeing the trailer, I did see it. I saw it like earlier in the week, but everything seems like passable up until he's like flying down the subway, and then that's just like this. It looks so cringy, absurd. Like, well, how is he like? No matter what what the bats did to him or whatever's in the serum or whatever he did, like super strength, okay, like bat sonar, okay, but like flying like that, like just like he's like has like a wingsuit kind of thing without the wingsuit. It's like, how do you defy the laws of physics that way where you're mad? I don't know. It just looks really bad. I can't believe they put that in the trailer. I would have advised strongly against it. I would have not.
But he did it. But he did it in the comics and in the cartoon, so it's part of canon.
Yeah.
It's part of canon. So
I get
what you're saying though. I get what you're saying because it doesn't look like he should be able to do it the way they have it done. I get what you're saying.
Right. I mean, my only touchstone for Morbius is I grew up in the 90s with Spider-Man the animated series. I remember Morbius being in that show. I think of all the Batman, I'm sorry. Whoa, wait, I'm way off. I'm thinking bats are in my head. With all the Spider-Man, the Rogues Gallery of Spider-Man using Morbius for a solo film seems odd, yet at the same time, I understand Morbius isn't strictly a villain. He has like a morally gray area, right? Like he doesn't want to be bad. So I guess there is like an angle to kind of sympathize with him in a way. He does this for like his health. I remember that from the cartoon also, like, with Felicia Hardy, like he's not strictly a bad guy. So I don't know why this movie has to exist though. I honestly don't know why it has to exist.
And I get where you're coming from with that too, because if you go back, a lot of people don't know who Morbius is. If you go back and look at it, if you didn't keep up with that old Spider-Man cartoon when he teamed up with Blade, a lot of people might not know who he is. So,
I only know him from the cartoon. Yeah,
I don't get it either. Unless you were a fan in the comics, so you saw that, or you saw that storyline in Spider-Man back in the 90s. You might not know who Morbius is. So, maybe
they better do a really good job explaining in the movie why he can fly. I hope they do a good job explaining that.
Right, because I get what you're saying. It doesn't look like it should physically be possible for him to do it. Even though it's part of his canon, it doesn't look physically like he should be able to do it the way it's done. So I got you there.
He doesn't necessarily fly though, Andrew. He like glides.
It's more of a glide. It's more of a high speed glide, kind of like when Storm does it.
Because it looks like something like a wingsuit kind of motion, like the way his arms are back, kind of like. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. Like,
no, he can't fly. He can't fly like the Human Torch or something like that. He glides. Okay, you know what I mean? Like he
falls with style.
Okay. Yeah, he can jump off a building and kind of like glide and descend.
The wind to catch him. Remember old school Spider-Man when he had the webbing on his underarm, underarm webbing on his suit. He let the wind catch him, and he could have like glided on the wind. So yeah,
there was a Daredevil villain called I think the Owl. And I remember like he had like this weird like he
could
fly because he could catch like the right air currents and like it's like an obese guy and it's like what like okay
kind of like the Kite and Harley Quinn.
I remember the Owl. I do. I remember him. That's funny that you mentioned it, Andrew. I remember the Owl. He was a goofy looking dude. But Vincent, what are your thoughts?
So I have a controversial opinion here. I absolutely detest Jared Leto. I hate
him.
Because he is a prick. Everything that guy does is just awful. Especially what he did in his stuff as the Joker. Like, have you ever read any things that he's done? like leaving dead animals in
Condoms.
people's trailers and shit.
So I didn't hear that part. I
He was
didn't
being
hear that.
method.
I hate that guy.
He's saying
So-
condoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do that to be? Did he do that as himself, or did he do it as in character?
He did
In
it trying to
character.
claim that he was in character.
He was
I
being
don't
method.
care. I'm an actor. I do a lot of acting. I've been acting for 20 years now. I don't do that shit, and I don't know anybody that does. And if you do that kind of shit, and I'm around, I will probably just punch you in the face because that's not acceptable.
Hey, man,
Like-
I'm gonna get you to help me out because when DC Comics finally smarten up and make me Black Manta and Aquaman, I'm gonna get you to help me out with the role, bro. So
Hell yeah,
definitely,
man. I'd love to see you. as Black
definitely.
Manta. But anyway, yeah. So I don't like Jared Leto. However, I do like the character of Morbius. Like you were talking about earlier, you saw him in the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s, right? I liked that character during that time. So I want to like this movie. Plus, they're doing a lot with, like, they're trying to cross over the MCU. They're trying to cross over Venom. You know, they're at least making all of these references. And so I'm curious as to where they're going to go with this movie. But I also really want to know why the hell they chose Morbius, and more importantly, why the hell they had to have Jared Leto in the MCU.
I
Or
just thought
Sony.
I just thought you would have saw Morbius in Blade or after Blade.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I think
saying?
that's when they should have introduced
In
him.
Blade or after Blade.
There is a rumor that Blade's going to be in the movie, though.
Jared Leto was the impetus of Morbius happening. He actually pushed for it behind the scenes and everything, and actually like brought the juice, you know, like, and said, "I want to be Morbius. I want to be, you know, in this Sonyverse or whatever." So he was actually a facilitator in this occurring. Just to be clear. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just real quick. One of the major things that stands out in the trailer is we see Michael Keaton in the trailer,
Facts.
and I'm wondering, like, do we know for sure this is the Vulture, Michael Keaton? And if so, is this just this universe's version of the Vulture, maybe with Michael Keaton as the, because like with the Venom thing, like they mentioned like the thing in San Francisco, so we know it's like tangentially related to Venom. But like in Venom, like they had to have like the entire like the room like wig out, and like now we're in the, you know, the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. So I'm wondering if this is like a bridge in between the two, or is the Michael Keaton we're seeing maybe just the Vulture of this universe?
Morbius is in the MCU. He's going to be in the MCU. They need Morbius in the MCU with Blade, with the Midnight Suns, with Ghost Rider and everything and whatnot. It only makes sense that they would be in the MCU, right, Shah?
Yeah, true.
Man,
Okay.
you don't bring Ghost Rider to the MCU. A lot of people gonna be upset.
Yeah.
So, Shaw, just bringing you in, what are your thoughts on the Morbius trailer? Anything new for you? Anything that stood out for you?
Well, it looks interesting. I mean, the last shot of his face was really good. Like, you know, definitely what I remember from the cartoon and all that.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of different nods to all three Spider-Mans. So, I don't know, whatever. We'll see what happens. I mean, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I'm interested.
You got the Daily Bugle like logo from the Sam Raimi verse. You have the Oscorp logo from the Mark Webb verse, and then of course he talks about Venom, and then you have the Vulture from the MCU Spider-Mans. So yeah, there's definitely nods to everything Spider-Man that's come out so far.
And then one of the funny things is when he's walking down the alley, you see the graffiti in the background of Spider-Man. That specific still from Spider-Man, if I remember correctly, is actually from one of the video games, Spider-Man.
PS4 Spider-Man.
There
came
you
out
go.
in, like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, 2018.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
so that was kind of funny.
But he's
Just found the
wearing
JPEG and just like
but he's wearing the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man outfit. But it is the still from the game. You're right. So,
well, fellas, jumping on to the MCU news section of this show, I just want to go ahead and segue into. We're going to try to avoid any intense spoilers with the Eternals, even though William saw it today. Sean,
Didn't you see it too, Andrew?
I did. I saw it last night.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And Andrew's seen it too. All right. So we're going to try to avoid any crazy spoilers. We are going to talk a little bit about one of the end credit scenes. So if you flat out don't want to hear about the Black Knight, and Kit Harrington getting the ebony blade and everything and whatnot, then you shouldn't probably stick with us for the rest of the show.
Well, there it is, folks. There's the entire spoiler for you.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
I think this is really interesting from the New York Post, which is actually the first newspaper that I actually got into when I was a kid in New York growing up. I used to read my dad's posts, and that's what got me into newspapers. But so from the New York Post, and I don't know what you guys are going to think about this, but please kill the Marvel Cinematic Universe before it's too late. That is the article from the New York Post.
It's too late.
It's way too late.
I mean, I guess basically this is a reaction to the Eternals, essentially, because they say in the 2002 film Spider-Man, Peter Parker's Uncle Ben told his nephew, with great power comes great responsibility. What he did not dramatically say was, with great power comes more than 30 films. But that, unfortunately, is Maniac Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige's misguided interpretation of the comic book wisdom. Eternals Out Friday is somehow the 26th movie in the so-called Marvel Cinematic Universe, a Texas-sized web of interconnected superhero features that's been devouring cinemas since 28's Iron Man. So the article continues on going forward and basically gets into Feige and friends are printing money. Endgame raked in nearly $2.8 billion worldwide for the evil little mouse, Disney, and crazed fans are still slobbering over capes and spandex, if not with the same intensity as they did with Black Panther and Avengers Endgame, briefly the highest grossing film of all time before Avatar, buoyed by its release, blew past it. So, bottom line, those two films, however, also marked the franchise's peak of quality. Black Panther, lest we forget, was nominated for Best Picture in 2019. If I were Feige, well, I'd buy a Greek island. But I also wouldn't send my award show Lux out to the dry cleaners next year. Okay, so basically, guys, the New York Post is slamming Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kevin Feige, the MCU, hardcore. Same axe to grind that we've heard from multiple people in the film industry about the MCU, about the movies. What do you think about this? What do you think of this backlash towards Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios? Have we gotten to a point where it's gotten too far with the MCU? Like, I mean, no, I know, but I want to know. I want to be fair. So I'm going to ask everybody. William, what do you think?
To a certain degree, because of the success that they've obtained over the years. Don't get me wrong, there've been bad movies, but for the most part, everything's been a hit. You can't say that about every mainstream movie out there. The successes of the MCU far outweigh whatever else is out there. And plus, the superhero genre in general will never be respected as mainstream cinema would be. So, to a certain degree, yeah, I think they're really hating on the MCU. I really think they do, and it's unwarranted.
Well, they continue on, and this is what they have to say about the Eternals. Besides being the flick to surpass the James Bond series event, series scant 25 chapters, Eternals holds a less illustrious record. It's the worst reviewed Marvel entry so far. Nomadland Oscar winner Chloe Zhao's movie holds a mere 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, and my review for the Post, I gave it 1 star. The sleepy dud jumps between so-so and so embarrassing, introduces some 10 bland characters we don't enjoy or care about, like our distant cousins in Wyoming. We have to see them again and again before they're in the damn family.
See, and that's my issue. And this is and Andrew, I know you saw the movie. I know you saw the failed series on Hulu or ABC, and it makes me upset because while the Eternals might not be the most popular heroes, they still hold a good story. And for them to be done or misdone twice now, this really, really pisses me off because I think the story is good. And you could have done a lot better than what they done. A lot better.
Well, Andrew, I'll go right to you since William already pulled you in anyway. You already saw the movie. We know that. But try to pretend like you haven't. And just let us know what you think about the New York Post basically trying to blast Marvel Studios.
I mean, Marvel right now with the last decade is pretty much the king of summer blockbuster and everything. I kind of William mentioned how Marvel is contentious with mainstream media, but I mean not mainstream media. I mean mainstream movies, right? But I think now Marvel is kind of the mainstream movie cinematic experience now.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of against mainstream, why these articles keep coming out.
Okay.
Because of the way the superhero genre is looked down upon, just for geeks, and that's not necessarily the case. And and like I said, and my other point was, I just hate the way the Eternals they've been mishandled and misdone twice. So you can't say that every day. The series that was on the series that was on ABC.
Okay.
Inhumans, you mean?
Yeah, that's my fault. My fault.
Yeah,
my fault.
Completely different.
Yeah,
my fault. Correct me if I'm wrong, William. But from what I've heard, even the source material, Eternals has never been a very popular comic series.
It never has.
It
never was.
So
but this is your chance to make it so, and they didn't do it.
Right. Okay, back on topic to the Washington Post thing. There's some I think there's some truth there, but at the same time, it's kind of almost like cannon fodder, where we just get new person injected into the MCU. But I don't think it's I mean, if people are going to still go out and pay for it, and it's audiences know what they do or don't like, or what's quality or not quality. Looking at the DC stuff, we know what people the audience, the public, what they think about fandom. So I think as long as Marvel makes films that are going to continue to be, it's mostly synonymous with high quality, but at the same time, it's not art house movie stuff. That's not what we're getting. We're getting feel good stories with characters that we love for the most part. And I think as long as audiences continue to turn out for that, that's gonna, money talks. So I can understand there's this idea also that critics have completely different ideas of what the public wants, and then the public has different ideas of what critics want. Talking about the Rotten Tomatoes thing, I think today the audience score is an 86% or something, which in my opinion, way too high, but not, I think the 50%, I don't think we've seen such a high contrast between what the critics and what the audience has thought in in a while. So the Washington Post being established, New York Post, right? Being old school established media through their lens. Of course, I think they're going to take issue with what's popular and stuff. Because also, I don't know how New York Post works. I don't know if it's SEO, search engine optimization stuff, but having bad takes or having harsh, takes on anything gets the attention, right? Gets the clicks and stuff. So that could be it, I think, also.
I got you.
They could have made the Inhumans great again, and they didn't. Or make them great the first time, rather, and they didn't.
Shah, what do you think? I mean, this is the first time I've heard any publication actually drop something as deep as Marvel's best, finest moments with film are over. That's what they basically said in the article, that Endgame was the pinnacle of quality MCU films, essentially. What do you think of that? The fact that they're taking it to that level?
I mean, obviously, this is one of those things where people that don't know what they're talking about. I mean, Marvel is created for the fans. It's accessible for the average moviegoer, but it's created for the fans, and critics don't understand that. It's something that they look at, and they, what what's that dude's name? What that one dude said, talking about him, saying, "Oh, I used to be in the comics too. I used to read the Hardy Boys."
Ain't no comic.
Exactly. That's a huge disconnect.
That's huge disconnect.
Exactly.
Hardy Boys.
Exactly.
What they got to do with Marvel?
Exactly. I mean,
well, let me ask you, Shah. I mean, I know where we're at with the MCU timeline. We got a ways to go. before we get another Avengers film, before we get X-Men. We're going to get Fantastic Four, hopefully, in the next couple of years. What do you think? I mean, did we reach our pinnacle of the quality of what Marvel Studios was capable of from a quality standpoint with a film? Do you feel like Endgame is going to be something that we're not going to be able to beat or overcome? Or do you think that Marvel still has the ability to give us films that can even move past Endgame?
Well, we know what the plans are already. Like the plans are definitely going to go beyond Endgame because they're introducing the multiverse and doing a lot of stuff with that. So we know that they have plans, And as far as like writing and stuff is concerned, just looking at the Netflix shows, I mean, WandaVision, Loki, on Falcon and Winter Soldier, like those are really really well written, great with the characters and everything like that.
The potential to see Sword. I mean,
exactly. I mean, like, and I mean, Phase 4. There's a lot of movies and shows that are like on the roster. I mean, and like a whole bunch of them, we don't even have titles for. So I mean,
yeah.
Except for Hawkeye.
Good point. That's a very good point.
What we know of is more than both Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Except for Hawkeye, you could let Hawkeye alone, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Bring up Ronan.
Vincent, we'll bring you in here on this. What do you think, man? How do you feel? What do you think about this article?
Well, here's my impression of Kevin Feige in this article for the first time. The New York Post thinks that we need to end all of our Marvel movies. Oh no. Anyway, here's another Marvel movie.
Yes. Get him. Get him, though. You're right, though. Get him.
I was trying to do a Jeremy Clarkson impression there for anybody that watches Top Gear.
You're right, though. Get him,
I mean,
man.
as far as I'm concerned, this is America, and Marvel is an American company, and it's a capitalist society. And so as long as they're making money, they're going to produce these videos. It doesn't matter what any one critic or 50 critics or a post or whatever says about them. As long as the people are going to buy the tickets, they're going to make the movie.
Heck yeah.
Yep, that's right. All I got to say to the New York Post is,
don't fucking say hello to me, bitch.
Right there. That's it.
Don't say hello to me. Don't say nothing.
Don't even talk to me, New York Post.
Talk to me, man.
How do you want to hear it?
I mean, they got so much coming down the turnpike to look forward to. We got Thor. We got the all-female-led Avengers team to come through. The Young Avengers possibly coming.
Look at the timing of it, William.
There's a lot, man.
I feel like that. You know what, William? I feel like the timing of it really stands out to me because it's like they see this 1 week moment with the Eternals where they're like, "Oh shit, we can talk bad about Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige and everything here for a minute," before Spider-Man 3 comes out and kicks ass. You know what I'm saying? And it is like another Endgame type film or whatever. And then you got Thor 4 coming out.
Yep.
Christian Bale as freaking Gore the God Butcher, which is going to be literally probably one of the best films we've ever had in the MCU ever.
He's perfect for that role, too.
People don't even know.
He's perfect for that role.
Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher is going to be deep.
That's gonna be awesome. He's perfect for that role.
That's right. And we're gonna get Loki again in Thor 4. They're gonna bring Loki in again. I mean, we got some good stuff coming up. I think Ant-Man Quantumania is gonna be a great film.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Can I do one more impression for you guys?
Do it.
All right. So this is Chris Hemsworth talking to Christian Bale in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh Lord.
I've got my axe, Stormbreaker. Oh, good for you.
My coochie meow meow is not pink because I'm brown. Roast beef.
My coochie meow meow is not shapen because I am single. Lonely.
Yeah.
My coochie meow meow is.
I just that was perfect. That was perfect.
Okay.
Roast beef.
There's just so much coming down. Then again, I kid around with it. I don't know how you guys feel. I think you actually like the fact it's coming. The only one that doesn't make me feel good is Hawkeye. Everything else I'm good with. Even
I feel
Moon
like I want to
Knight.
get that chick's number from the video that said that she hasn't cleaned up her cat for a while or whatever. Like, I feel like I want to get, see what's up with her.
But the other one, even with the questions Moon Knight has surrounding about it, I'm just not thrilled to see Hawkeye. I mean,
you're not.
No, I'm not.
I love Hawkeye.
I'm not. Now, if it's Ronin, I'm down. I'm down if it's Ronin.
Well, technically,
but it's the same person, I know. But the way character,
technically, Ronin's in the movie, in the show, technically.
Yeah. I know he's in there. You see him later.
Well, her.
But I'm just saying, if it was just straight Ronin, no Hawkeye, I'm happy. There's no Hawkeye in there, man. Come on, man. Hawkeye.
Okay.
Really?
Next article. This is going to be interesting. I want to get you guys' opinions on this. From the direct.com. Thor 4 writer says women and people of color are the focus of new superhero movies.
Okay.
One of the key issues that Marvel Studios has addressed in Phase 4 is representation and diversity. This topic has been addressed numerous times by fans, critics, and even MCU mainstays themselves.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
Okay, so here's my deal with this. I'm down with diversity, you know what I'm saying? And I'm down with the inclusivity. And I guess where I'm at is just basically, I don't want to see this get taken too far. I don't want it to get too freaking PC or too woke with the MCU. I don't want things to get in that direction to where everything has to be about Captain Marvel, Brie Larson type inclusivity contracts where she can't be interviewed by white, media people or whatever. You know what
Why would anybody want to interview her at all? Why would anybody want to interview Brie Larson at all? Why?
Why does anybody even want to have a conversation with her?
Speaking as a person of color, I think it's fine to include, but let their inclusion mean something. Just don't do it to do it. And Shah, I've said this several times. When it comes to this stuff, just don't do it to do it. Give them a meaningful role so they can make a difference in the movie. That's been my only thing. Just don't put them in there to shut people up. Give them a meaningful role in the movie so they can make a mark for themselves. That's been my only thing.
No, it's a good point. And I'll go to you, Vincent. Look, I'm not trying to set you up with a tough question or something that's, intense to talk about or whatever. I just want to put it out there that I think this article is important because I think this can go too far. This whole mentality or this ideology that they're kind of working with here. What do you think?
It's a really tough situation to be in because all of these characters, they have come from a long time in the past, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, some of them. And being around that time, things were different than they are now. There wasn't a lot of inclusivity in Marvel back, 60 years ago. But as time has gone on, the 90s, the 2000s, they have brought in a lot of characters who represent a lot of different minorities and people of color, gay people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do I think that they need to go back and change characters who have already existed as a straight white male into a gay black female? No, absolutely not. But do they need to include people who are existing in Marvel Comics as people of color? Yeah, absolutely. Do they need to include people that are gay? Absolutely. Do they need to include people that are women? Of course. So yeah, there is a little bit too far, and I'll give you an example of that, and that is, I believe that DC has announced that they're trying to do another Joker movie with Kristen Stewart as the Joker. Why? At what point do you need her to be the Joker? You could literally have her be so many other amazing characters in the DC franchise, like Duella Dent, for example. Have you ever heard of Duella Dent?
Yeah,
Paula Dead's an amazing character, and Kristen Stewart could play the hell out of that role. But if they're going to have her play the Joker, like the specific Joker, and not like maybe Martha Wayne as the Joker in the Flashpoint series, then what's the point in that? Why are we doing something like that? There's no reason to.
Now hold on, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this part. And Shah, if you know, please agree or disagree. There was a whole universe in DC based on gender swapping. There was a female Superman, a female Batman, a male Supergirl, or trying to be that person within. So there are some places that gender swapping is already established. Now, so I don't know. I get what you're saying, because you'd rather see a new character, not just a gender swap of an old character. But gender swapping has already been done in both DC and Marvel.
Oh, it has, yeah.
As far as Kristen Stewart's concerned, she's not playing the Joker. That she already confirmed she's not doing that.
Good. She don't need to be in nothing, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there have been characters where it makes sense to make them that way, like gender swap or race swap or whatever it might be. But then there's characters that have been established, and this is always the way they have been, and this is always the way that they should be. That it's like, why are you doing that? I don't know. That's just one man's opinion.
No,
it's fair. It's fair. It's fair. Like people had earlier with Idris Elba being Hawkman, bruh, relax. He's a great actor. He's gonna play that character well. Just relax and calm down, man.
Oh, this isn't playing Hawkman.
Aldous Hodge.
Aldous Hodge, my fault.
Oh, okay.
Got you mixed up. But yeah, but he's playing Hawkman, and people are having issues with it. I don't understand that. Just calm down, relax.
Okay, I got where you're coming from. Did you want to say something, Andrew?
Sure. I guess I'll have something to say. By the way, I'm Mexican American. So I remember back when Falcon and Winter Soldier came out, of course, race was like a huge topic of that show. I remember my cousin at the time was telling me, he's like, oh, like I haven't seen it, but I heard like, oh, like they retconned in like a black Captain America in, or like he used to be before that. And I was like, now hold on, now like it's not just a random thing they just did now. Like there was, I believe it's based off of a 2003 storyline where there was a black Captain America, like even before.
Done in the comics, yep.
Yeah, so once I told him that, he was like, oh, okay. I thought they were just like adding like whatever they could or whatever to kind of just like.
Sam was Captain America multiple times, going back to back in the day.
Yeah.
Right, but he was like saying like, oh, like they're focusing like too much on race, and I'm like, well, no, because there was a black Captain America, and then there was also like that stuff where like he survived like all these trials, right? There was other black African American soldiers, right, from the U.S. side that are like subjected to like the serum and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just like random, like there is a place for it. And so now like whenever this stuff does come up, people think like, is it just because of the modern times, or is there like a precedent set for it? And sometimes there is a precedent set for it. My opinion really is, if it doesn't change the trajectory of the story, or it doesn't actually affect the outcome of a story, I don't see the problem with like changing, what's his name? Jimmy Olsen, right? One of the Superman movies was a black guy, right? But he's like, I think canonically a redhead or something, right? So like, doesn't change. That really doesn't change the plot of the movie, right? So like, fine, go ahead and do that. It's not a big deal. But speaking personally, like I don't think it's such a bad idea to include, more races or more, sexual orientations or stuff like that. If it doesn't impact the story, then it's just like extra. Just why not? For example, I don't think it's like a spoiler, right? Because it was mentioned already in the media, but like there is a gay kiss scene in Eternals.
Yeah.
And that, it's there. It's like right there, for the audience to see and everything. But it has like, if that character had been straight and with a woman, it literally would not make a difference to the storyline at all. So
that's why that movie was banned. I think it was one or two countries. That
yes,
movie was banned.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's three.
Yeah, three.
I'm surprised
yeah.
they wouldn't just censor it over there. Like, why miss out on the money? But I guess they
Right.
want to hold true to their vision or something. So
They should have a little bit of oh, I swear to
okay.
But there's so many. I agree with Andrew. As long as it doesn't mess up the main story, and you give the character a good storyline, something that they
Why
can
not?
make themselves right. Why not roll with it?
Isaiah Bradley was the first Black Captain America that you were talking about.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
And in the comics, Falcon, Sam was Captain America multiple times. Bucky was Captain America, Sam was Captain America. And I'll tell you right now, for me, I never hesitated for a second. When I saw Endgame the first time and Cap gave Sam the shield, I was like, yeah, like that makes sense to me. I could never see Bucky becoming Captain America in the MCU after what he's been through, what he's done to people.
I mean, don't forget the man was labeled a psychopath at one point. So
yeah, the Winter Soldier.
I mean,
Bucky, I just can't see him being Captain America with all the baggage.
Yeah.
But Shaw, what do you think, man? I mean, I feel like as long as they keep things comic book original and they maintain the comic book, basis for the characters, as long as they stick to the comics, I'm happy with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. I mean, there's a lot like a couple years back when Marvel basically replaced all their most popular characters with PC versions. Some of those were good, and some of those are bad. Riri Williams, Miss Marvel. Let's see, which one else? Like characters like those were bad, but other characters like X-23 as Wolverine, she was fine. Female Thor, I didn't think was bad. And other characters like that, weren't bad. It's just, it was just that the forcing of it, So yeah,
Would you include Miles into that or
no? Miles is awesome.
Yeah,
no, I meant like around that time was he? Because I think he was like what 2009.
He was probably like the beginning of it, really.
Okay.
Miles is awesome.
He wasn't forced. Like they introduced him and they respected the past, and like Miles was really great. That's why
that's right.
They did the whole Secret Wars thing just to bring him into the MCU. I mean, not MCU, to the 616.
That's a good point, Shaw. They did that well. They did that the right way. They didn't gender bend any characters or make Star-Lord gay or whatever or bi like they did last year or whatever in the comic books. I'm not a big fan of some of the stuff that they've done in the comics, but so moving on, Marvel's Eternals star teases Kit Harington's MCU future after post-credits tease. Now, this is the one thing I did want to talk about that's kind of a leak, and that's just the fact that it's been well rumored and well leaked for a while now that there was going to be a post-credit scene where Kit Harington was going to get the Ebony Blade and essentially become the Black Knight. In the Eternals film, you don't get the Black Knight. You get the Eternals, but you don't get Black Knight with the Ebony Blade actually, fighting or anything like that or whatever. Obviously, William, Andrew, you guys know that more than we do, but I just want to go around and ask everybody, even if you don't know a lot about the character of the Black Knight, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you like Kit Harington from Game of Thrones? I know I do. What are your thoughts on? I'll go to William and Andrew first, as you guys already saw this scene. William, what do you think? What do you think about the potential for the Black Knight?
I like it because it's something new, something different. Now, I did see an article the other day that I don't know how true it is that says we'll never see the Black Knight in the MCU. If I can find an article again, I'll post it in a group chat. But I like him. I think it'd be new, to be something different, something that Marvel can definitely come back and hang their hat on. He was a defender back in the day. You can do a lot of stuff with him. So I'll be happy to see him if he does make it into the MCU. I was sort of kind of shocked we didn't get him in this movie because again, that would have been something different, way different.
End up honestly, William. I'll put it out there. I think he's going to end up being a co-captain of the New Avengers when they actually put together the New Avengers. I think he will be one of the assistant coaches or whatever of the New Avengers underneath Sam as Captain America, who I would hope would still, be the leader of the Avengers. But Andrew, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, we talked a little bit about before the show about the character itself, but I mean, are you excited?
I'm definitely interested. Kit Harrington. I mostly just know him from Pompeii and Game of Thrones, or the
guy who did Pompeii.
Yeah, those are only my point of references for him. And in Pompeii, he was all right. In Game of Thrones, I love his character.
Oh, he was dope as Jon Snow, man.
Yeah, he's awesome as Jon Snow. So I'm curious to see. As I mentioned before we started recording, my only touchstone for the Black Knight is getting Marvel Unlimited and going back to the 60s era and seeing the original Black Knight with the winged horse and the sword with the special mechanical fire and other stuff like that. So I don't know what the magical properties are of the sword. I can tell you from you can tell it's not an ordinary sword in the post-credit scene. It does this weird have you ever seen when people put magnet above iron shavings and they get pulled towards it, kind of it has this weird ripply effect. So I don't know, maybe I'm sure you guys can explain to me what the properties are of the sword. All I understand is that I think it makes its bearer invincible, or at least really hard to kill while they're wielding it or something like that. So I'm curious to see what how that's going to play out. Yeah, that's pretty much what I really got on that.
I'm curious to see. I mean, it must be nice to be a dog because my dog just farted and it literally smells like somebody just took a dump, right in front of me. You know what I mean? And he's just rolling with it. He doesn't even care. He's all good. He doesn't even seem he's even interested in it or whatever. And it's interesting, man, being a dog. You can just fart and it's disgusting and not even care. But Vincent, what do you think, man? Are you looking forward to seeing what Kit Harrington can give us in terms of the Black Knight? I mean, as far as what you were talking about, Andrew, the Ebony Blade does actually have abilities where the user of the Ebony Blade is basically very hard to kill.
It's kind of like Hawk Girl's mace from DC, because when she holds on to that mace, she's hard to injure, hard to kill when she holds on to the mace. If you go back and look at Justice League Unlimited, as long as she has on that mace, she can take some pretty powerful punches from some pretty powerful DC heroes and villains, as long as she holds on to that mace. So it's sort of it's like that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Vincent.
I have very little knowledge of Kit Harrington's acting skills or things like that. I never watched Game of Thrones. I was aware he was on it and he was Jon Snow, and Jon Snow was kind of the main character, especially towards the end. I never saw Pompeii, so I don't have a whole lot of reference to go on with him. I do believe that the entire reason for the Eternals, at least probably going forward because of how poorly the movie is getting reviewed, it's going to be about him going forward, about him being the Black Knight and becoming a leader. And there's one line that is in the trailers, at least, and it might have been in the movie too. I haven't seen it yet, but he says, I could lead the Avengers, and they laugh at him. I think that's leading up to him actually leading the New Avengers.
That's a different, it's a different character.
That's a different line. That's a different line. Yeah,
they were both in Game of Thrones, though. They were actually brothers in Game of Thrones, which is funny.
That might be why I'm confusing them.
Yeah, Richard Madden.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you. Shah, what do you think, man? I mean, where are you at with the potential with this character?
I mean, I'm interested. I mean, initially I thought that he was going to be as the Black Knight at some point, but now that I hear that that's not happening, that's kind of a negative now for me. But whatever, we'll see moving forward what happens with him.
Could you see them potentially? I mean, I know this is way out there, but do you think that he could end up with a solo film maybe down the road?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
now that would be something. Because if you want to talk about an obscure character, That's about as obscure as you can get, unless you really was into the comics back in the day. That would be interesting to see if you can pull that off.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward to the whole situation. I'm really happy that they brought Kent Harrington in. I'm really interested in seeing what the Eternals is going to have to offer. I'm trying to be optimistic about it when I go to see it tomorrow.
Yes, right.
Even though I had to listen to William today on Facebook saying all this movie sucks and everything and whatnot.
I want my $10 back.
Yeah, man.
The interesting part though about that the end credit scene though, that specific end credit scene is that wasn't even the most interesting part of the end credit scene, and I think William probably knows what I'm talking about with the way how it ended. There's a little, you guys. I don't know. I don't
go see it. Go see
not
it.
Spoil it. Yeah, go watch it. Go watch it.
Go see it. Go see it.
At least watch the end credit scene.
The end credit scene. The end credit scene. It would be worth your money.
That alone is worth the $10.
Yeah. The hit with the rest of it. Just go see the end credit scene. You'll be good. You'll be good.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I go to watch it tomorrow, I will just go ahead and go to the bar for the first 2 hours, and I'll come in just for the end credit scene.
Credit scene.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, listen, guys. Look. We've been getting after it here for a minute. I want to go ahead and take a moment here to give everybody on here a chance to plug anything they want to plug. I want everybody to shout out all of their awesome family members, friends, Geek News Now Network, whoever you want to shout out, whoever you want to say hello to, or let anybody know you're getting after it here on the Bleeding Edge. Starting with you, Shah. What do you have to tell us about the Geek Gauntlet?
We stream every Saturday night at 10. We talk about a lot of geek stuff, DC, Marvel, other things. We just tune in.
Okay. And Shah brings up some of the best topics in the business. I remember one time he came up with that topic: put one Marvel and one DC character together and see what you got. And that was very interesting to see. So definitely check out Geek Gauntlet. We do stuff like that. Break down all the news, break down the shows, superhero shows that come on throughout the week. So definitely check us out every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, twitch.com/William Morgan Media.
Thank you, William. Mm-hmm. Andrew, do you have anything to shout out, or do you want to plug anything?
Well, like you mentioned, we're you and I, and pretty much almost, I think most of us here are now part of the GNN network. I mostly just write articles about video game news or reviews for video games. Occasionally Marvel stuff if they pass that on to me, but I mostly do the writing articles for GNN, and then I also have a separate non-GNN affiliated podcast called DuoSense, DuoSense. Which is a primarily video game related podcast where we talk about the latest gaming news, talk about what we've been playing. I do that with my best friend. It's not related to GNN, but it's another thing that I do on the side besides writing. So check both of those things out.
Excellent. Vincent Vanspock, what do you got to plug, brother?
So mostly you'll find me on Rizzle, maybe a little bit of TikToks, and I have some old YouTube videos you could watch if you wanted. Rizzle, I think, is where I'm really going to be spending my time recently, because I just decided that that's the platform that I really want to go with. I started doing a MCU tier list of best to movies to worst movies and whatnot, and I've done one episode, which was the absolute worst MCU movies thus far. I haven't seen Eternals yet, so I haven't put it in there yet, but and so tomorrow I want to do the next step up from that.
Most definitely, and I'm going to take the next step up with this person of the combat section. This is what I'm going to be doing after the show. Yes, I'll be getting after it.
I just saw that.
I'm gonna tap into my inner by Star-Lord after the show. And no, anyway.
He said enter by Star-Lord. Ah, man.
Hey, listen, William. I want to be a loyal Kevin Feige Marvel Studios fan. So if we're going to start gender bending characters and everything and whatnot, I might as well just go ahead and.
Ain't no wrong with that, man. Like I say, ain't no wrong with that.
Nah, man. Hey, everybody out there needs to love somebody.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who they love is up to them, as far as I'm concerned.
That's
as
right.
long as they watch the MCU's Bleeding Edge, I'm good.
Amen.
Well,
amen, brother.
Well,
I just did a quick Google search, and Star-Lord is technically bi as of December 2020.
Yeah, it's canon. Yeah.
I was gonna say just real quick. I just pulled up my phone real quick. On Variety reports that production on Black Panther has been put on hold right now because Latita Wright had an injury. So curious to see how that's going to affect the schedule of the MCU films moving forward.
And I'll tell you right now, I remain highly optimistic that they're going to end up putting together a really solid Black Panther film. I really do think that Black Panther 2 is going to be a good film. I do. Even without Chadwick. It's going to be tough. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll tell you right now, if Chadwick was still alive with us, he'd be my brother. I would be up with him, kicking it with him and whatnot, because he's just that good of a dude. That guy is one of my heroes. Like, I'll put it out there right now. I have very few heroes in life, but Chadwick Boseman is one of my heroes.
Awesome guy.
Yeah. That man was a lion of a man.
Remember, he knew he was sick, and he stood in all the acting that he did, even after he knew his diagnosis. He didn't take time off. He didn't stop. He kept going. He kept working. So shout out to that man. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could even try to pretend they could understand what he must have gone through to deal with what he dealt with medically, and then at the same time act in Infinity War, act in Black Panther, act in Endgame, back to back. But either way, listen, guys, I really appreciate having you on here. I really appreciate GNN, Geek News Now Network. We're really pleased and happy to be aligned with Geek News Now and to be a part of the team. It's great to have so many great people from GNN on here. You know, I'm feeling the team love right now. I really am. And Andrew, I just want to say thank you very much. I know that you know, you don't typically always cover the MCU or Marvel to this degree and whatnot. You're more of a gamer guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's right. But thank you for taking the time to join us and everything. Hopefully you'll come back again.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a lot of fun. Thanks.
Oh yeah, no, it was a good time. And Shah, your spot's always open here, man. Whoever you want to come on the show and get after it with us, we're happy to have you.
Okay.
William?
Yes.
You son of a bitch. Thanks for spoiling the Eternals for me today, brother. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. My fault, man.
No,
my
it's all
fault.
good, it's all good. I'd rather hear the truth from a friend, to tell you the truth. So I know.
And when you watch it, your opinion might be different than mine. We're two different people, so you know, put your thoughts down in there, and we can compare notes and see where we go with it. Because the one thing I love to do is to have a difference of opinion, like adults. Right. But we can always have a difference of opinion and work things out from there. And that's what I love doing.
And that's one of the coolest parts of being a part of the MCU fandom is that we all do have different opinions on everything. And for the most part, we all seem to just manage to get along and just stick to the fandom, stick to the content, you know, and give our opinions, have different opinions and whatnot, but get along, be able to have, you know, good conversations, good discussions. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think there's just a lot of jealous people out there in the film industry and in the media. They see an opportunity to beat up on Marvel Studios, and they take advantage of it, like the New York Post earlier. But Vincent, it is very nice to be able to say that you are becoming a regular on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to join us tonight.
That's what I told him. That's why I told him me and Malv was going and claim his spot right now. Just claim it.
All right.
Just claim
you
it.
know what? I like honestly, I think there's something to having guests like Vincent on it in like short doses. You know, like it's good to give them a break here and there, than to have them come on as like a breath of fresh air on the show. So
yeah.
But anyways, again, thanks guys. Thanks to GNN. And oh wait, hold on. We got one more person in the chat. Oh,
That's my brother Sean, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah, my Sean. It's my brother Sean. He's pretty cool.
What's that, Sean?
Yeah, what's Sean?
What's up, man? What's going down?
Anyways,
we need to get Sean out here too.
Everybody's welcome here on the MCU's Bleeding
Get them
Edge.
all on.
Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys in the studio. MCU's Bleeding Edge. Peace.
Later, guys.